everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. That feels really weird to say that. It feels really weird just sitting in a room talking to yourself, to be honest, but let's go with it. So I decided to finally do a video about my travels because I put I put questions a few times up on my story, and I've had a lot of questions about my travels, and I thought that I could probably help some people out by answering a few questions, because when I first went travelling there was loads of questions that I had, so I thought I'd film a video. Got some of the questions all written down here which people have asked me, but I thought I'd start by just giving you a brief background into the travelling that I've done. So in March 2017 me and my boyfriend went to Australia. So we travelled around the east coast of Australia for 2 months, and then we worked in Brisbane for 6 months, and then after that we travelled Fiji, New Zealand, and all around Asia, and I wrote a travel blog about it at the time, and obviously a lot of you have seen my Instagram posts if you've been following me for like over a year. But yeah, if you have only just started following me recently, then that's what I'm talking about. Okay, right, so I'm just going to start going through the questions. So the first one is, how did you afford travelling? That's probably one of the most popular questions. I've been asked that quite a few times, because obviously it is quite an expensive thing, especially if you're going to Australia, New Zealand, baby. So yeah, I think the main thing with that is that it was just something that I really wanted to do for ages. So because I wanted to do it so bad, like I just made myself save for it. So like if that means not going on nights out or not buying as many clothes for a while, then so be it. I think, well, you're just gonna sit there, baby. Well, I say that I didn't go out. I think I still did, to be honest, but I think I was saving up for like 3 or 4 years. So yeah, just like a little bit each month, and then gradually ended up going. What is the best way to travel Australia or New Zealand? So we decided to do Australia in a camper van. So then, because we'd done Australia in a camper van, we did New Zealand on the Kiwi Experience, which is basically a massive bus where there's people who are mainly like probably 18 to 30. Like, but there are some older people as well, but yeah, like mainly 18 to 30, and you all travel around on a bus together, and to be honest it is really, really fun. Like, we made so many friends, and you just go out most nights and get drunk. Like, obviously you don't have to do that, but if you want to, like, it is really good. So going in a camper van in Australia was really good, because obviously you've got the freedom of being able to go wherever you want. So like we could literally wake up one morning, go on Google and be like, best places to go in between Sydney and Melbourne, and then just decide to go to that place, which I loved, because you end up going to places that like other people haven't really been to, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I definitely did like it in a camper van because of that, just because of the freedom of it. And then with the Kiwi Experience in New Zealand, I love that because you don't have to worry about driving anywhere. They sort out like most of your accommodation for you, and like all of your activities, which when you're in New Zealand is really good because it is all about the activities. So yeah, I don't really know which one I would choose. Like, I think if you're going to do both, like I would definitely do one for one and one for the other, just so you can get a taste of each, because I literally can't choose. Like, I'm so glad that we did it the way we did. In New Zealand it is better to do it on a bus, because there's just not as much there, so like it's good to be with people. Like if you weren't on a bus then you probably wouldn't meet as many people, whereas in Australia, like I think you're going to meet people anyway. So yeah, I'd maybe say do it like that. Cool, so someone's asked how much money we took to Australia. So we pretty much knew that we were going to go out there and that we were going to work out there. So we only really took enough money to last us for like a few months. So I think we went out with 4 grand each, which did last us about 3 months, because it is fairly expensive in Australia. Like, it's not, I wouldn't say, like some people say it's like way more expensive than England. I actually don't think it's that much more than England. Like, but obviously England is expensive. Like if you're going to compare it to Asia, then yeah, Australia is quite expensive to travel. So I think we spent like probably about 1,200 or 1,300 every month, pounds that is. So yeah, 4 grand lasted us 3 months in Australia, but then obviously after that we worked, so we were making money. I should probably just say as well that £4,000 for the first few months in Australia. That didn't include our camper van. We paid for our camper van before we went, which I think was like £1,200 for 2 months. So because we'd already paid for that, obviously we didn't have to spend any money on accommodation. So if you were going to need to spend money on that while you're out there, you'd probably need quite a lot more than £4,000. But yeah, we booked it beforehand. What was one thing you loved and one thing you hated about travelling? So one thing that I loved, oh, it's cold. One thing that I loved was just like the freedom of it and waking up every morning. Hello. Yeah, waking up every morning and knowing that you're going to have like a really fun day exploring a new place. I just love going to new places. And probably the worst thing about it was trying to carry my bag around, because I just didn't like throwing clothes away at all. Next question is the visa process difficult? No, it's really not. Like, I think a lot of people think that it's difficult, but it's really easy. What I'll do is I'll find the link. It's on the Australian government website. I'll find that link and I'll put that underneath the video in the comments. Well, actually, I don't know if it would be in the comments. It would probably be in the description. So I'll put it in the description. Yeah, so that you can use that link if you wanted to apply for a visa. But yeah, we literally just filled in all of our details and we heard back via email within about an hour saying that we've been accepted. So yeah, it's really easy. Next question, how much did you spend in 12 months travelling? We weren't actually travelling for 12 months. As I said, we were working in Australia for 7 months, but in the probably 2 months at the start and 4 months at the end. So in, yeah, like 6 months travelling, I think we spent about £9,000 each. Obviously Australia, Fiji and New Zealand are all a bit more expensive than Asia, so that's where we spent the bulk of our money, and then Asia is a little bit cheaper. How do you shower when staying in a camper? So if you're going to do a camper van in Australia, or I think they actually have it in New Zealand as well, there's an app called Camps, which basically, even if you don't have Wi-Fi or 3G, will tell you all of the campsites which are in the area. So as long as you download it like while you've got Wi-Fi or 3G, then it just works on your phone and it will just tell you as you're driving around like where the nearest campsites are. So what we did is we would normally stay in like a slightly more expensive one night, like have a bit of luxury, have a nice shower, and then we'd stay in like a cheap, like not as nice one, or we just sleep by the beach or something the night after. Was it easy to get work in Australia? Well, we decided to live in Brisbane basically because we were there from March to October, and Sydney and Melbourne get a little bit colder during those months, whereas Brisbane, because it's up in Queensland, stays quite hot. And in Brisbane it was slightly harder to get work because it's kind of like more Australians that live there, like there's not as many backpackers that go and try and work there, so there isn't as many jobs. So yeah, like we both ended up in office jobs, which we got through just applying for them online on Indeed and Seek, which I think is their other like job website over in Australia. So yeah, we both got jobs from that. There is quite a lot of hospitality jobs. I think it's quite easy to get a job in a cafe or a bar, so yeah, like it's not that hard. Like if you were in Sydney or Melbourne, I think it would be easier. Like it did take us a few weeks in Brisbane, but we got there in the end and it's fine. How did you decide what to take / fit everything in a backpack? My boyfriend will tell you that I was an absolute nightmare for this. Like I literally just took like my whole wardrobe and tried to carry it around on my back, which I couldn't, and he ended up carrying it most of the time whilst I carried his like lighter bag. But from experience I can tell you the things that I actually used the most, because half of it I didn't use, was like chuck on t-shirt dresses, play suits, little shorts and like sandals, like anything that's comfy and easy to just throw on, because like you won't want to be putting in the effort, like you won't be able to be bothered. Maybe take like a few nice outfits just in case you want to dress up on the odd occasion. Like it's nice to have a few outfits that you know you can feel really nice in, but yeah, just find some like nice t-shirt dresses and play suits and things and they'll be perfect. Did you work in Australia? Yes, we did. And what was your favourite places there? I really liked the Gold Coast, which is right by Brisbane. So because we were living in Brisbane, we would kind of go there on weekends and stuff. They've got really nice beaches, like Surfers Paradise Beach is really nice. Mermaid Beach, like it's all just like a massive stretch of beach and all like high-rise buildings. Also loved Whitsundays, like obviously you've got to go to Whitsundays if you're going to travel Australia. And Sydney is really cool. Like obviously you've got to go and see the Opera House, and like the beaches and stuff in Sydney are just really fun too. What did you do career-wise beforehand, and were you able to take a 12-month break? I actually left my job because I was planning on like leaving it anyway, so it worked out quite well for me. Andy was able to take a 12-month break because he'd worked at his job since he was 18, so because he'd worked there for so long they let him. So I think some companies are open to doing that. How did you decide your route for travelling, and why did you choose Australia and Asia to explore? I don't really know, like I think whenever I'd thought of travelling, like I'd always just had that side of the world like in my head. Like I'd always wanted to go to Australia, and we went on holiday to Thailand like 2 years before we actually went on this big travelling trip, and we absolutely loved Thailand, so that just made me want to travel around Asia more, and obviously knew that Asia was like really cheap and like really fun and really nice beaches and stuff. So yeah, and then Australia, obviously we did want to travel Australia just to go and see what it's like, but one of the main reasons we also went there was just like to work, because we'd heard that you could make more money there, which we did. So I think the minimum wage is like $25 an hour or something like that, so you can make quite a lot of money over there, so it is a good thing to do, to go there first, make your money, and then travel around like Asia and all those places. The worst thing that happened whilst you were travelling, we were in a taxi in Vietnam and we had loads of bags, and I left my camera in the taxi and had no way of like getting in contact with them to try and get it back, so yeah, that was sad. How big was your rucksack? My rucksack was 60 litres I think, and then I had like a 20-litre one that went with it, so I think you want to wear like the 20-litre on the front and the 60-litre on the back. I would probably recommend just getting like one big 81, because it was quite annoying like having to like try and fit stuff in 2 different bags. How much money would you recommend for 3 months in Asia? In Asia, like it depends, because you could do it really cheap, but then if you want to spend money on like trips and excursions and things like that, then they do put the price up on them a little bit, because obviously they know that you're a tourist. So like I think I would probably personally take like £1,000 a month, or you could do like £800 to £1,000 a month in Asia, and like that would be like you would be able to live comfortably and do everything that you want to do. Or you could take like less and you could just stay in like really cheap hostels and stuff, and yeah, do it cheaper. But we didn't really stay in hostels, we stayed in like hotels, because the hotels over there are like not even much more than the hostels anyway, so you might as well just stay in a hotel. And last question, what would you pack for Southeast Asia? Same as what I said before really, like just comfy chuck-on clothes, obviously lots of bikinis, mosquito spray because there's loads of mosquitoes over there. So we've come to the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that my answers have been helpful. If you've got any other questions, just leave me a comment under the video and I'll get back to you, or just message me on Instagram. I do also have a discount code for Rat Pack Travel, who arrange travel in Australia and New Zealand. They're based out there. So if you did want to take advantage of that, just drop me a message and I can arrange that for you as well. So literally if they would be able to get you 10% off Whitsundays trips or campervans, literally anything that you want to do. So yeah, just let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know if there's any other videos you'd like to see.